Hello and welcome. I'm Nathan, your friendly neighborhood trance worker, and today, day 4 of our 22 Days of Trancework series, which is adapted from our Akashic Trancework initiation series, we'll be talking about relaxation. Relaxation is essential to safe and effective trance work. If you're new to trance work is just the process, the experience, and the science of studying the inner world, the mind, the emotions, the spirit, all of those things that are not physical. We study those things through the process of entering trance states. So, if you caught the lesson from yesterday, we talked about different types of trance states and some methods, some techniques we can use to very simply self-induce trance states. We very briefly talked about breathwork, we talked about toning, and we tried a few different techniques and methods I guided you through if you joined us. And if you haven't seen those, you can get them on YouTube at our channel, Alchemical Child, or you can go to our Facebook page, Akashic Trancework. All of those things are available there. So, yeah, hey Jesse. So let's talk a little bit about why relaxation is so important. Relaxation is not an easy thing for most of us to do, especially in a busy lifestyle, in our busy day-to-day work culture. We don't get a lot of space to truly relax. Oftentimes, what passes for relaxation is vegging out at the end of the night or having some drinks. And, there's some merit to those things, but we very seldom intentionally take aside time to relax. Maybe you get weekends off for a few days a week, but most likely that time is so packed in with stuff that you have to do, you don't really get a lot of relaxation time in. I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but this has been my experience in my life quite a bit. So we've learned to cultivate intentional, quick relaxation practices. So let's talk about why this is important and how it applies to what we do in Akashic Trancework. Well, in order to do any astral work, any higher level work, the body has to allow us to do so. We talk a lot about the lower self intelligence, the body intelligence, and how much it dictates so much of our experience in Akashic Trancework. And in a few lessons, we'll really dive into that. But for now, let's just think of that lower self as being your body intelligence, your basic survival mind. It needs to sleep, it needs to rest, it needs to eat, it needs to procreate, it needs to protect its young. That's the primary motivation of that lower self-intelligence. Excuse me. My lower self is speaking to me right now and being like, clear your throat, right? Your body is going to take precedence at any given time, especially if you are depriving your body of things like sleep, food, affection. We need human contact of some kind. Most of us do. You'll be very aware of those needs not being met. Your body will communicate with you very clearly about those things. So the process of relaxation, of bringing intentional relaxation practices into our lives, is largely about rewarding that lower self, rewarding that survival mind for the excellent work that it does in keeping us alive and allowing us to experience and enjoy life. So let's talk about how we can do this. Can we intentionally relax our bodies, our lower selves, very quickly? Well, there are many ways to do this, but the two primary methods that we like to use don't require anything outside of yourself. Most of the techniques that we teach in this class are things you can do anywhere. You can do it in the woods, in your bedroom, walking down the street in the back of a car, not while driving. Please don't do these things while driving. So these tools can be very effectively and practically applied anytime, any place. Very easy by any. So basically, what we want to do is just learn about breath work and toning. We talked about breath work and toning a bit yesterday. Again, if you didn't catch our previous videos, they're all available on our YouTube channel, Alchemical Child, as well as on the Akashic Trancework Facebook page. It's just Akashic Trancework, and you can view all of those videos from the previous sessions. Now, breath is such an important part of relaxation that in our full initiation course, we include a lesson devoted just to the breath. I don't think that there's anything more honest than the breath. The breath will always tell you the truth about how you're feeling, about your experience. Your breath is your constant friend. Your breath is not just air. It's the actual life force of the universe. It's actually light. When you breathe in, you're breathing in the sunlight that's been processed by plants, turned into oxygen, which becomes electricity in your cells. That is what sustains you. Light filtered through plants. And that's what you're breathing in. In yogic traditions, as most of you probably know, they call this prana, which is just energy. It's the energy that's carried in the breath. So when you breathe in, you're breathing in the life force of the universe. When you breathe out, you're releasing the energy that your body does not need. That energy becomes processed, carbon dioxide, by other organisms, by plants. So you can see how your breath connects you so intricately with the cycles around you, with the other beings around you. The air that you share with people is charged with all kinds of things, with particles, with pheromones, with all kinds of beings and energies. We are so interconnected through the air. And that's just before it enters our bodies. So, in order to use the breath to relax us at any given time, we really need to establish a relationship with it. We need to establish a relationship with the breath. And like any good relationship, this requires listening. We have to learn to listen and follow the breath. So I would like to assist any of you who are open to this and present for this to take a few minutes to do some guided breathing. I'm going to take you through some breathing exercises and show you how your breathing affects your consciousness, but also how important your breath is at every given moment of your life. And how the more you establish a relationship with your breath, the more you learn how to listen and follow and connect with your breath, the more in tune you'll become with everything around you and your own body, your lower self. So just take a moment if you're joining us now to get nice and comfortable. If you have some water nearby, take a nice sip. There's water in the air around you too, right? So sit back, relax, take a nice deep breath. Try to breathe through your nose, but if it's more comfortable, if your nostrils are blocked or if it just doesn't feel right, you breathe through your mouth, that's fine. Just breathe in and breathe out. Don't try yet to breathe in any particular way. It's not necessary. You can just allow yourself to pay attention to your breath. Breathing the most natural way you can. Allow yourself to just breathe. You'll notice that your breath has information for you. It will tell you about your health, about your sinus cavity, about any pain you're experiencing in your lungs. It will tell you your overall cardiovascular health by the way that your heart begins to respond. It will give you a lot of information if you just begin to follow the breath. Notice how it enters. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it at the tip of your nose, in your throat, in your stomach? Just keep breathing. Just keep following the breath. And now I invite you to breathe in for 4 counts. Take a pause and breathe out for 4 more counts. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just continue to breathe naturally now. Notice your thoughts and feelings beginning to wander a bit. That's fine. Just let your thoughts and feelings wander as you breathe naturally. Just allowing the breath to flow in and out of your lungs. Just letting it move its own natural rhythm, its own natural cycle. Air flows in, air flows out. Let's breathe a little bit deeper now. We'll breathe in for 7 counts and out for 7 counts. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just relax. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your body responds. Pay attention. It's okay if your thoughts and feelings wander a bit. That's natural. Thoughts and feelings rise and fall. It's what they do. You don't need to focus on any of the thoughts or feelings or distractions that arise, the judgments, the ideas. Those things are just part of your experience. And you've come to this deep place of relaxation on your own. You have within you the power to access these deep states very quickly, simply by making friends with your breath, but not just with your breath. And if you're feeling very relaxed, I invite you to open your eyes, take a deep breath, stretch your neck a bit, roll your shoulders, connect back with your physical body and your physical space. Look around the room, notice if things look a little bit different now that you're in a bit more of a relaxed state. Just make note. Now, what I would like to try with you, and I'm a little bit raspy tonight, so I apologize if this sounds funny, but this is toning. And toning is an interesting process that I'm often surprised not more people are familiar with. People who have done a lot of musical performance, who are singers, are more naturally inclined to be familiar with this, but anyone can sing. Anyone can make tones. Anyone can vibrate. You're not performing. You're not trying to sound good. Sometimes it might sound melodic. Sometimes it might sound harsh and dissonant, and that's okay. Because toning, which leads naturally sometimes into things like light language or glossolalia, speaking in tongues, things like that. Toning is the beginning of that. Toning is trusting the voice to flow naturally where it needs to go, kind of like water, right? So we can intentionally tone to different parts of our bodies. We can vibrate to different parts of our bodies very simply by using our voices. If you can make sounds, you can do this. We talked about this a bit yesterday, and I did a little bit of a demonstration about how we do toning, but how I tone is not how you tone. You tone in the way that sounds most natural to you, that feels the most natural to you. You can make any kind of syllable, any kind of sound. Maybe you know the different tones of the different chakras. Maybe you like to do Om. You can tone any syllable you want to. You can tone any note that you want to. But what we found through our observation and through our experiences with ourselves and with each other is that you can actually tone yourself to different states of consciousness. We did this yesterday, so I want to expand on this a little bit and invite those of you who are watching this, whether it's recorded or you're watching this live, I invite you to, if you have the privacy and space to do this, make some noise. It's a little weird. It's pushing the edge of weird. I've done entire recordings like this, and yeah, I get it, it's weird, but it really does help you to move the energy in your body. And it's probably something that you already do. You just weren't aware of what you were doing. So let's talk about where in our bodies we tone to. We found that by toning in different areas of our bodies along different parts of our vocal tracts, we can induce these different trance states. So typically speaking, if we want to get into that alpha state, we talked about alpha states last time. And alpha states are very active. Alpha states are very perfect. They're perfect for daydreaming. They're perfect for visualizing. They're perfect for allowing us to really connect with that inner world. They're kind of like the astral gateway, so to speak. So basically, in order to get ourselves into an alpha state, we need to tune into the third eye. We need to tone into the third eye. So the higher up that you can send your voice, the more in tune with that alpha state you'll become. Now, I'm a male and I don't have a super high voice. I probably have a higher voice than most males do. So I can get fairly high on my vocal tract. So I'm not going to go as high as I can. That can be a little bit dissonant. But we just want to raise the energy up. It's an active, engaged kind of vibe. I'm going to start kind of quietly. So really, it's just like humming. Just start by humming through the nose, humming through the mouth. Take a deep breath. I like to use my hands when I do this because I can actually feel the sound waves. I can feel the vibrations in my hands, and it helps me to kind of move the energy up. So toning up allows me to access my higher chakras. It's a more active place, more engaged place. I can be a little bit louder. Sometimes people will put their tongue on the roof of their mouth, and that helps to kind of focus the energy a bit more. Yeah, I'm not trying to sing. I'm not trying to make a sound for someone else. I'm trying to tone the different energy centers in our bodies. So if you plan on doing this, make sure you warn your housemates and pets and neighbors that you're going to be doing this. So I want to invite all of you who are watching this, if you're open to this kind of experience, you can also try this later. We'll have this recorded available for you too. Let's try and tone a little bit into the higher chakras. Don't try to sound like me. Hopefully you sound maybe a little bit better than I do. But it's not about how you sound. It's about how you feel. You want to feel the vibration in your head, in your third eye, in your cheeks, in your crown. That's where you want to feel it. So let's try it together if you're open to this. Now, you can just do basic tones like that, but I like to bring in some syllables. And these syllables, they don't necessarily mean anything. Sometimes they call them light language. Maybe it does mean something in some forgotten tongue of our ancestors, but sometimes they go, so you can have fun with it. Be weird with it. It gets weird here. Embrace the weird. So you can go at any level. You can bring it up to about here. So those frequencies, those types of tones, feel the vibration in your head. You should feel your sinuses vibrating. It's a very good way to actually clear your sinuses. Sound is the most healing force in the universe. Sound is everything. There are many other ways you can access these tones. Musical instruments, recorded binaural beats, crystal singing bowls, which we use quite a bit. But you can tone anywhere, and that's the point. So the alpha tones can be a little bit jarring to hear for the first time. So when it comes down to relaxation, they're not the best way to go. I wanted to demonstrate how you can activate that alpha state. But a deeper state, a more relaxed state, is about down here at this frequency, down here, in a more relaxed, more peaceful tone. And you'll begin to notice, if you talk like this, you will feel it in your heart and your hands. I tend to kind of have my hands out like this because I can feel the energy. I can feel the energy. You'll see it in all the videos. I'm like this all the time. But ultimately, we can learn to vibrate into that space. That's very powerful because that is how we can access those theta states. We can access those theta states by toning into our heart space. So after you've taken some time to tone up, you can tone down, and then go back up, and then you can tone down. It's about right there. Sometimes I feel like I have my heart energy in my arms when I do this and I tone like that. And you can really, again, have fun with it and incorporate the breath work. Make sure before you tone, take a nice full deep breath and just let the sound ride the breath out. Don't try to force the breath out. Don't try to force the sound out. Just let it flow out. And you might be surprised at what kinds of sounds escape you. Only one shot away, not a hua, what a It's okay to modulate a little bit. You hear that a lot in tribal chants. We're not appropriating here the sounds that people make, that shamans make, that dancers make. Those are not words in their languages. Those are primal tones. We all have access to this energy. We all have access to this knowledge within us. So as you can see, sound, toning, is a very powerful way to alter our consciousness, to alter our states of mind. It's interesting. I found that professional singers or accomplished singers sometimes, not always, have more trouble with toning than people who are just letting loose, right? Because they're trained. They're trained. So if you are a trained singer, I really encourage you to kind of push your abilities with this and push your limitations, push your boundaries a little bit, because toning is not, again, always about sounding good. Sometimes it's more of an emotional release. Sometimes you'll have some sort of medical thing arise because you're activating different parts of your bodies and that can cause pain, and that's normal. If that happens, then breathe into that feeling and you'll begin to release some of that suppressed cellular memory, which we'll talk about later. These are not just things that we do to try and get into trance state just because. We have a very specific process that we're following about what we do once we've learned how to access trance states. So your homework is to tone, to let go of your need to sound in a particular way. Find your voice. Learn about your breath. Have a relationship with your breath and your voice. Begin to cultivate that relationship. Many people don't like the way they sound. You know, I don't particularly care for how I sound, but I work with my voice. And that's because I've learned to trust my voice. I've learned to trust my expression. And I do believe that each of us has the ability, if they choose to guide others or themselves into trance states using their voices. And that is something that we also teach in Akashic Trancework, how to guide other people using our voices. Now, we don't actually teach that in this 22-day free course. That's kind of an advanced subject. So if you would like to learn more about that, then you might want to think about enrolling in the Akashic Trancework Initiation workshop series that we will be starting on January 15th, where we'll go into these concepts even more in depth and also teach some processes and techniques that you can use to guide yourself or others through deep trance states. Well, I appreciate all of you for joining us. I appreciate all of you for being present today and for following along and for staying this long. I do offer, for those of you who have stayed till the end, I want to give any of you a free 20-minute session for watching this whole video, or at least joining late. So either way, feel free to reach out to me and let me know if you would like to do that. And I'm happy to spend 20 minutes with you, either doing an Akashic record reading, doing a little bit of channeling, guiding you into a very light trance state, or just talking. We can just talk a little bit too. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Deepest blessings to all of you. Until next time.